Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. Let's talk about suffering for a minute, because I'm going through a bit of it starting the school. It was frustrating getting it open, then once I got it opened, it became more frustrating than ever and has continued to be so. So, Nietzsche, I recently favorited a video on Nietzsche and hardship, which is 50-50. It's kind of well done. It's interesting too. It's good to listen to. And my Zarathustra series, if you have listened to that, is not finished yet, but if you've listened to it up to that point, it's got some stuff in there on suffering. So Friedrich Nietzsche talks about suffering being the only way to get something meaningful. If you don't suffer for it, if you don't struggle, then it's not a particularly meaningful or valuable thing. Well, this isn't the first time this has been said, right? Suffering leads to value. Let's see, Christ was put on the cross, right? The ultimate suffering, they've often called it. He was tortured and stuff, and crown of thorns, and nailed up on a cross to die, and all that. So suffering leads to knowledge or some sort of value. Suffering leads to value. Aha! Guess what? The Greeks said it too. They said knowledge, which is a gift from God, is given only by God through suffering. So it's kind of like a catch-22 sort of gift. If you want knowledge, you have to suffer. The Greeks said it in their plays hundreds of years before Christ supposedly walked around. And then 50 up to hundreds of years later, that was re-quoted in Christ's mouth in the Bible. And then centuries and centuries and centuries after that, Nietzsche said, yeah, the only way we can achieve knowledge is suffering, and the Greeks said it first. Now, fine, I just want to put the Greeks in there. I'm suffering now in the sense that I'm fighting people. I recently realized, it's pretty obvious, that I wouldn't fight reality, would I? If I'm fighting the good fight, so to speak, if I'm being objective about my aims and my goals and everything, then it wouldn't be reality that would oppose me. And in fact, I've found that reality has helped me out in many ways. It would be people that oppose me if I'm a pro-reality a person's acting with reality in mind. That would be called an intellectually honest person. I wouldn't be frustrated by reality. It would assist me. That's what I'm experiencing. The hard part is the people that fight against me. Why do these people fight against me? Well, I'll be talking in another video about my solution to my recent struggles. But apply this in your own life, or think of places to apply it, or watch for instances of suffering leading to knowledge, growth, happiness, etc. Nietzsche said, on my friends and my closest acquaintances and stuff, I recommend, or I wish for them to have suffering and pain and frustration and so on, because it's only through suffering that you get growth. It's been said before. The Greeks said it first, as far as I know. I'll bet there's precedent before them, because it's a common human experience, isn't it? Suffering leads to growth, and people who don't suffer don't grow. And if you ever take a stand anywhere in life, you'll see that this happens, and I want to talk a little bit about why. Why is it the good have to be punished for their virtues? Well, the first reason, I think, that people, when they see someone trying to do something that's good and right, they don't want to admit that it's good and right for a couple of reasons. Doesn't have to be all these at once. One of two reasons. They don't admit what you're doing is good and right because either they would have to join you. If they really admit, yeah, that's good, that's right, then they'd have to give you their support. So, out of lack of wanting to do that for whatever reasons, or they don't want to admit what you're doing is good and right, because if they oppose you, it elevates them to your level. And they know they couldn't get to your level because they're not virtuous, they're just slime bag. And if they're going to oppose you, it looks like their battle is as good as your battle. They can see you're battling on the side of justice and so on, and they don't want you to have the glory. It's envy. And so they want to stop you from having the glory of actually succeeding and doing something. Now, the smallest example in the universe will suffice for people. I worked at Taco Bell, and I wanted to make sure that every day when I started my shift, I had empty trash cans from the front of the store to the back. So I would come in and empty anything that was more than a quarter of the way full. If it was just a quarter in the bottom, I'd empty the damn thing from the front to the back, and I'd come in early to make sure I did this. And I wasn't there a week at that store, and I was sneered at, and people disliked me. And I actually worked in better working circumstances. It's not every group of people you ever meet, but it is way too often that you get sneered at and hated and derogated and fought against for doing something good or right or virtuous or productive or useful. So I think there are two main motives that people fight against virtue. There are two main reasons you'll be punished for your virtue. One, that people are sort of envious, or they don't want to see you succeed. They want to join the opposition rather than join your support. And if they're going to just stand on the sideline, then why not join the opposition? You know, if they really don't care about the good and success of what's right, then why not jeer a little bit with the crowd? The crowd's all jeering together against you. Why not why not join in with the crowd? So it's a lot easier for them to get off onto that side. It's either envy, not wanting to see you succeed, or it's a sort of laziness, a sort of lack of a desire to take on the responsibility and an act of willpower which would support you in your struggle. Now, the real question comes, is it really worth it to fight these bastards your whole life? And Ayn Rand said to Peikoff, and I have felt glimpses of this, I wait for a day of vindication. Ayn Rand said to Peikoff after she published Atlas Shrugged, walking down the streets of New York, she said, never give up what you want in life. The struggle is worth it. What struggle? Why does there have to be a struggle? Because you'll be punished for your virtues. So be it. Let the battle commence.